everyone. Okay, so we're going to do a repurpose the box of our spice cupboard journal, and I'm going to have some printables for you guys. If you just look at the link below, you'll see the little downloads. You guys can download these. And we're going to be using some of our papers that we resurfaced with spices and parchment paper. So I have one here, and I have all my papers here that we're going to use for the book. So what I'm using is, I have a lot of these little cool little boxes from when I purchased my essential oils. So this is where you have to get a little creative, because I know not everybody has them, but just, you know, kind of look around and see what kind of boxes you have around. If you've purchased anything recently, or, you know, you can use cigar boxes or jewelry boxes. Why I like this one is it has a magnetic strip here, so it'll seal the box automatically, and then we're going to create our journal that's going to go inside of it. So this is kind of like the case. So the first thing we're going to do is our cover here, and we're going to have to, I just have a piece of 8.5 by 11 that we put spices on, and added a piece of parchment paper on top. So what we're going to have to do, I'm just going to flip it over, is measure the width of your box, and I'm just simply sticking it on top. Oh, you think I would have a pencil around? Okay, I've got a little Sharpie here. And I'm just going to mark the width, because we're going to tear the paper to that width. And you can use any of the papers that you created. I should probably go on this side. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Much easier to tear this way. If you've got a little piece hanging out there, you can just cut it. So what we're going to do is we're measuring the width. We're going to tear it because we're just basically going to wrap it on the whole cover here. Okay, so we haven't done the length yet. We're just doing the width. Okay. Oh. So my wax paper is falling off of my, here, let me just tear this. My wax paper is falling off of my paper underneath, of course, because it's wax paper. I only use Mod Podge. I'm going to put a little bit of sticky, tacky glue. I was going to do this earlier, but I thought I wanted to tear my papers before I fastened it. If that's happening to you, you can just put a little tacky glue as well. I'm just I'm tearing the wax paper about 1/4 inch longer so that we can actually wrap it around. And you don't have to put glue on the whole thing. It's just, we want to just make sure it's tacked a bit here on the ends, because that'll get secured once we wrap it over the book. Okay, so I have my length here, and so the idea is the little overhang that I left of parchment paper is going to get sealed. Let me just do it this way. In the inside cover here. Okay, I just left a little piece that's torn because I like that look. And so when your book closes, it'll look finished to there. And then over here, what I'm going to do is, I thought of leaving the back because it does have herbs. I'm going to grab a piece of rice paper and see if, I had it on my desk a second ago. As you know, this is always just a creative process, so you experiment as you go. But I thought if I can put a piece of rice paper, no, I won't really see anything below. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut a piece of paper to put under there, and I've got these. I might put something like this, and that'll wrap over, or I'll put something like that on top. Okay, so let me just get a piece of, hang on. Okay, I'm just getting one of the pieces of paper that we resurfaced yesterday, using water and turmeric just to color it, and I'm going to use that to put that down. So you can use whatever paper you want. Use one of the ones we did yesterday. We're just going to do the same thing. We're just going to tear the width of it, and I'm not going right to the edge. I'm doing it in the middle so I can tear both sides and just kind of get like a rustic edge on that. But you know, you work the way you enjoy working, or if you want to just purely like just try something new and do it the way I do it, you're more than welcome. Or if you want to use, you know, measure everything precisely and do it that way, you're more than welcome. But this is just a quick and easy way of doing that. So the first thing I'm going to do is the backing. So let me just check out the front again. Okay, it does cover the spine. Okay, so we're really just cutting a piece to fit the back here. Okay, a nice little square. So I'm going to flip it over again and mark the back width here so I could have a piece that's exact. Oops. So we can just glue that on. This is the other side of it. I had a lot of turmeric on it. Okay, one, and another one there. Just leave those. Okay, so this is the back. I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. And you can use, I'm going to use some tacky glue for this. Tacky glue is probably the best thing to use because you know it won't come off. You can use Mod Podge if that's all you have on hand. I don't recommend using a glue stick. It just will not stick on there well for you. Oh, I have used this way too much. Okay, I'm going to have to use my little sponge here. So you want to make sure the whole surface is covered so there's no bubbles. Make it a little more here. Okay. way did that go? Okay. So you're going to secure that down. Look how pretty that paper is, huh? And I like how the interior of this box is all nice and black too. And I'm actually, the sides are black. I'm going to leave the sides black. We're just resurfacing the top here. Now, I was just kind of playing to see how I was going to do this, because I'm going to have a little piece over the back. Okay, so now when we do the front, what we're going to do is, let's get some glue on just the top first, and we'll do the sides after. We'll wrap it after. So I left the length of it 11 inches because there's enough to wrap over the front here, and then we're going to overlap the back part. I just like the look of it overlapped. I like when I'm layering my papers and stuff. So I've just opted to leave it that way. I think it'll look really good in the end. Okay. Okay. So place your paper on there. Make sure you have enough to cover the front lip part if you are using one of these little essential oil boxes. That looks so good. Look at that. Okay, and now let's go ahead and I'm just gonna, it's gonna be tricky to get it on camera here. Okay, so I'm just gonna get some glue on the lip part here. And make sure you're getting glue on the edge too, where it overlaps, because you don't want it to start buckling. Okay, so once you have enough glue, you can just wrap that over like so. And I kind of like how this is loose here. Like there is a little bit of a lip. You can always tuck something underneath. And it will be secure once it's here. But I just like the fact that I can tell that it's layered. Okay, now let's get a little bit of glue here. I'm just putting it on the wax paper. Okay, and we're going to seal that over, just like so. Okay. Before we seal this part down, let's just add a little bit. I just want to get a little bit of tacky glue here at the bottom just to secure it, because my fear is that it'll get snagged and tear, and I really don't want that to tear. So I didn't do it the whole way. I just put two little kind of peaks there. Okay, this is looking really good, you guys. Okay, so now we're going to do the spine area. Now, Let me just think about this for a sec. What I want to do before we do the spine is, let me grab it. I've got some raffia. I went and picked up some of this at Dollar Tree the other day. I love this stuff. And get a hole punch here. Because we're going to be using some of this for the interior of the book to bind our book. And I want to put a little bit of this accent on the exterior. I'm just trying to figure out what color I want, because they have these really cute, like, kind of coral colors. And now the inside of my book is going to be, it's all like vintage and stuff, but we've got some of the nutmegs and some really nice tones like this. So I think I might use the red. It just seems like it would be so pretty with this paper. Let's see. Try to figure out how to open this stuff. Okay, here we go. Okay, isn't that pretty, the red with that? All right, so I'm going to grab a couple pieces. If I can get at it. Maybe I'll double up a couple. Okay, so what we're going to do on the spine is we're going to just poke 2 holes. So go down as far as your hole punch will go. And we're going to poke one on one end in the middle and one on the other end here in the middle. So you've got 2 holes, and we're just going to thread it through. So I think I might do, let's see. So let me see, just to be safe, 1, 2, I'm going to do 3 blanks, and I think I'm going to do a little bit of this brown as well. Yeah, that'll be nice, just to get a little bit of that brown accent in there. Okay, so same thing. 1, 2, and 3. All right, let's get that back in the bag before it unravels. It's already starting to unravel. All right. This stuff is so pretty. I just love raffia. Okay, so we're just gonna thread it through one side, and then back out. And it's so nice to get all these different textures in your book, you know, when you're making books. Okay. And then what we'll ultimately end up doing is just kind of tying it there, but we can leave it loose for now while we get the glue down. So let's get some glue down on that spine. I'm adding just a little extra glue there because we're going to have that raffia that's going to add a little more bulk. We want to make sure it really gets stuck down in there. Make sure you're getting glue on the bend here too. Okay, so pull your raffia taut. I think I put this through the wrong spot. Hang on here. Okay, There we go. Okay, so pull your raffia so it's flat, and just go ahead and press that down. It's going to look so good. Okay, and then let's get some glue on this back portion. Now I'm going to put the glue on the paper part because I don't want excess. It just lifted off the spine, which is totally okay. You'll just have to make sure that raffia is taut again before you press it down. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to pull the raffia again. Okay, and we're just going to wrap it. So we've got our spine here, and we're just wrapping around. And you can go ahead and grab a bone folder if you want, and just press that down. And go ahead and do the spine as well. And just get in there and press gently, because remember, we've got our wax paper and our yummy goodness underneath. But look at how, do you see how that the paper that we made really gives a look like homemade paper, but all it is spices underneath, and we put that parchment paper on top. But what a cute little book this is going to be. And then you can just tie the raffia, be gentle. I'm just going to tie a double knot for now. Okay, and you can tie a bow if you want, or just leave it like that. That makes for a really pretty spine. And then when we open the book, we're going to have all our yummy goodness here. And I'm still trying to figure out if I want to put something on the top. I do kind of like this antique herbs, and I have provided a download for you guys. I'm just going to tear it up so I can add that to the front. How pretty is that? And I kind of like how there's a little tear here. Let me just kind of rough this one up a bit. I like that. I just want the white off it. Oh. I think I'll just tear it manually. Just get a couple tears in here. That's always a nice way to just age, you know, age something up a bit. I'm just getting rid of all the white paper. It just looks so good, you guys. It's turning out really well, better than I expected. Okay, isn't that cute? Look at that. And then you see the nice little herbs underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use some tacky glue. Don't use your Mod Podge, because remember, this is wax paper. You got to make sure it's tacky. And I printed, so this download I provided for you, I actually printed it on one of my eco-dyed pieces of paper. The one where I used the beets and the coffee and the Coke. So it gives it another additional little level of rusticness. And this kind of peachy color, that was from the beets, so you're going to get the undertones as well. Look how beautiful that looks. Okay, and then you can go and decide if you want to cover this, if you wanted to put, you know, some little herb pieces of paper to cover it. You can do that. I think I'm just going to leave it black. I just kind of like it that way. So that's our cover. And then what we're going to do next is work on our book structure for the inside. And I'm also providing some downloads for you guys, these little downloads. So if you want to put some in the cover or include them in the book, I'm going to give you guys all these little printables so that you can create your book as well. But next we're just going to do the structure, but the cover is done. Our little box book is done, our little cupboard spice box book. So let's put that aside and let's get to the construction of our book. So we're doing the construction of our book. First thing you want to do is measure the inside of your box, and mine is like 6.5 by 6.5. So I'm going to make my book pages 6 by 6 inches. So yours are going to vary depending on which box you're using. So I'm just going to measure my pages here. Okay. So on some of the ones that I use the rice paper, I'll be able to get 2 pages off of, but on the other ones, I'm only going to be able to get 1 page off. Or, no, I can get, let's see. Yeah, 8.5 by 11. Oh, I've used a lot of rice paper. Okay. Sorry, I forgot. We did sandwich rice paper. They're all, what were they? 11 by 13, so you'll be able to get 2 sheets off. And then we're going to use the extras. So I have a sheet here. I did a piece of parchment on top of one of my spice sheets, the rice paper. And what I'm going to do is, you can tear this off, but I thought I'm going to fold it over because on the other side of the paper, it's going to end up being a pocket. So what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do, I need 2 6 by 6 sheets, and we are not folding these. We're just literally cutting our pages. So I'm just going to put a mark where I need to cut my papers. I'll start here and do my first tear. Okay. So I'm going to remeasure because I think I tore a little bit more. 6, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do a tear here. And I'm tearing because I want it to be rustic. And 6 and 12. And then we need to make sure it's 6 inches high. So I'm going to do this tear first. Okay, so, and we're going to have this lovely paper left over that we can use to make pockets and embellishments. Okay, so keep your pieces, don't throw those out. All right. Okay, well that tore off my guide on the other side. I just want to make sure the pages are straight. Okay, so I've got 2 pages cut, and you see how on the other side we've got the little flap. So because this is going to be a page in our art journal too, and we're going to use that as a pocket. Okay, so if you've got little pieces of paper that you can, you know, hang on to and keep like that, then do that. I'm just going to tear it down a bit so it's not so high. You can have high ones and low ones, but I've got like the perforated edge there that I don't like, so I'm just getting rid of that. Okay, so I've got a couple pages cut already. So what you're going to do is just go through your papers and cut your pages out. You don't want to do it too thick because, of course, once we start stuffing them, it's going to get fat and we want this to close. So I'm thinking probably about 10 pages. Don't do more than 10 pages for this book. So go ahead and cut your selected papers, and you can watch the whole video on how I do it. I'm going to cut my papers and then I'm going to meet you back here. Okay, so all my papers are cut. I ended up actually cutting 12 pieces instead of the 10. I just stuck an extra one in there. So just, you know, make a judgment call according to your box. It looks really thin, right? But I'm going to have some raffia here, and then this is going to get filled up, so it's going to get thicker. So I think I've got it about a third of the way filled. Okay. So once you've got all your papers filled, you know, arrange them however you want. So if you've gone ahead and left some flaps for a pocket, you have the option of having the pocket on the side, or you can have it, you know, down below. So I put one on the side, and then I have one back here that I'm going to have down below. So make sure your pages are arranged the way you want it. The top page, try using one of the pieces of paper that there's cardstock in between, not the one we did where it's just the rice paper, because you want it to be a little stiffer. That's going to be your cover, and then get a stiffer one for the back as well. That's going to be the back of your book. And what we're going to do is we're going to stitch it this way. So what because of the way that we're going to bind this book using raffia, we're just going to be hole punching it. So what I like to do is make a little guide, because you know, you can't hole punch them all at the same time, but you want the holes to be in the same spot. So I'm just gonna, using my cutter here, I'm gonna get a piece of paper that's 6 inches. Doesn't matter what the width is, but what I'm going to do is use this as a guide so I know where I want the hole punches. And the hole punches are going to be, you're going to have about 1 inch of spine, so you want to do the hole punch at a 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to mark on my paper here where the 1/2 inch mark is. And then we are going to go, okay, so that's 1/2 inch. So I'm going to do one of my holes 1 inch from the top and 1 inch from the bottom. So I made my markings. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch a hole right through the middle of my mark. Okay, so this is going to be used as my guide. then what I can do is I can take a couple pieces here. I'm going to put my guide, and I'm going to punch in the exact same hole as my guide. That way I know all my papers will be in the right spot. Okay, grab 2 more. So you'll just go ahead and do that. Place your papers down. Making sure my papers are the right way, the way that I've arranged them. Okay, next. My last 2 pages. Okay, my holes are all punched. I'm gonna line my book up, and the holes should all be lined up. I'm just gonna use my what's it called, awl here, because there's, when you're punching through, if you're punching through some of the wax paper, it doesn't cut off all the way. So I'm just using my awl to go in and make sure my holes are lined up. Okay, and then once they're all lined up, what I like to do is just clip the book. Makes it easier for when you're putting the raffia through. And then grab your raffia, whatever colors you want. I think I'll use a little bit of a natural tone inside with a little bit of the brown. Okay. So the same as the book. Oops. Oh, this raffia. Okay. So we're going to go, whoops, sorry, 3 lengthwise. 1, 2, and 3. Let me just cut that. And then I'll get a piece of the dark one. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you can put as many colors as you fit in there. I feel like I want a little bit of red. I'm going to put a string of red too in this one. Okay. We'll see if I can fit 3. Should be able to. Okay, so all you're going to do, the same as the binding, is thread your raffia through. So easy. Come on, red. got a little piece of red here that's got split. Okay, that's okay, because I like just a little hint of that red. Okay, and then thread it back through on the other side. What you might have to do is just cut it so that you got all your pieces together clean, and then just get those through. Just like so. Okay, so it's just right through on the back. Just pull it a little taut, and then you're going to tie it up. Right over left, left over right. You guys know the drill by now, right? Okay. And you're all done. That's it. So you can do what you want with the front. You know, you can tie it in a knot. I think I'm just gonna cut these ones down like so. And just leave it rustic like that. But that is your book construction. And now the little book's gonna fit nicely in here, and you're ready to start journaling. How cute is that? So this platform is just purely for book structures, okay? But I will give you some ideas on how you can fill these journals. This is a spice cupboard journal, so I've got all kinds of little downloads for you guys. All little downloads I'll make available for you so you can fill your journal. And I'll provide a little video over on the Journal with Me on, you know, a page, how I do a page in it. But I'll also provide for you the reveal of the journal, so you can see the entire journal and what it ends up looking like. But I hope you enjoyed this structure. It's a simple little structure. It's just an idea if you want to do, you know, a little herb alchemy book, or, you know, a little seed journal, whatever you want. You can use the structure really for anything. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think. And like always, post your little journals over on my Facebook group called Collaborating Through Art. Collaborating Through Art. And if you have any comments below, leave them, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks for watching, guys.